Hello, my super fabulous, wonderful third graders. I'm so very proud of you. We have gone through, I think it's 8 weeks now that we have accomplished of online learning already. Can you believe that? Off to our Crenshaw book. I'm sitting out on our little porch we have here. It's just a fabulous, fabulous day. I'm loving this weather. He's making an appearance, peeking out of the book here. So if we remember a little bit, they like purple jelly beans. He isn't sure why Crenshaw is a cat, since he really likes dinosaurs or alligators and dogs. So Jackson is not sure about why his imaginary friend is a cat. Chapter 8. A couple of hours after the mysterious jelly bean appearance during cereal ball, my mom gave Robin and me each a grocery bag. She said they were for keepsakes. A bunch of our things were going to be sold at a yard sale on Sunday, except for important stuff like shoes and mattresses and a few dishes. My parents were hoping to make enough money to pay back some rent and maybe the water bill too. Robin asked what were keepsakes. My mom said it isn't an object, it's an object you treasure. Then she said things don't really matter as long as we have each other. I asked what were her keepsakes and Dad's. She said probably their guitars would be at the top of their list, and maybe books, because those were always important. Robin said she would bring her Lyle book for sure. My sister's favorite book in the world is The House on East 88th Street. It's about a crocodile named Lyle who lives with a family. Lyle likes to hang out in the bathtub and walk the dog. Robin knows every word of the book from heart. Later, at bedtime, my dad read the Lyle book to Robin. I stood at her bedroom door and listened to him reading. He and my mom and Robin and Aretha were all squished on her mattress that was on the floor. The wooden parts were going to be sold. "Come join us, Jackson," my mom said. "There's lots of room." My dad is tall, and so is my mom, and Robin's mattress is tiny. There wasn't any room. "I'm good," I said. Looking at my family all there together, I felt like a relative from out of town. Like I belonged to them, but not as much as they belonged to each other. Partly that was because they looked so much alike. Blonde and gray eyes and cheerful. My hair and eyes are darker, and sometimes so is my mood. Emptied out, it didn't look like Robin's room anymore, except for her pink lamp and the marks on the wall that showed how much she had grown. And the red spot on the carpet where she'd spilt cranberry apple juice. Robin was practicing her t-ball batting, and she got a little carried away. "Swish, swash, splash, sploosh," read my dad. "Not sploosh, Daddy," Robin said. "Smoosh, splish, swash." "Stop being silly," she said. He poked him in the chest. "It's swoosh, swoosh, I tell you." I said that I did not think an alligator would enjoy taking a bath. I'd just read a whole library book about reptiles. My dad told me to just go with the flow. "Did you know that you can hold a crocodile's jaws closed with a rubber band?" I asked. My dad smiled. I wouldn't want to have been the first person to test that theory. Robin asked my mom if I had a favorite book when I was little. She didn't ask me because she was pouting about my bathtub comment. My mom said, "Jackson really liked A Hole Is to Dig. Remember that book, Jackson? We must have read it to you like 1,000,000 times." "It's more like a dictionary than a made-up story," I said. "A brother is to help you," my mom said, which is a line from the book. "A brother is to bug you," said Robin, which was not a line from that book. A sister is to drive you slowly insane, I replied. The sun was beginning to set. The sky was tiger stripe colors with stripes of black clouds. I have to get my stuff ready for the yard sale, I said. Hey, stick around, dude, said my dad. I'll read A Hole is to Dig, assuming we can find it, that is. I'm too old for that book, I said, even though it was the first thing I was gonna put in my keepsake. Lyle, one more time, Robin said. Please, 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 please. Dad, I asked, did you buy some purple jelly beans? Nope. Then where did they come from? The ones in Robin's T-ball cap. This doesn't make any sense. Robin went to Kyle's birthday party yesterday, said my mom. Did you get them there, sweetie? Nope, said Robin. Kyle hates jelly beans. And anyway, I told you they were magic, Jackson. There's no such thing as magic, I said. Magic. Music is magic, said my mom. Love is magic, said my dad. Rabbits in a hat are magic, said Robin. I would put Krispy Kreme donuts in the magic category, said my dad. How about the smell of a new baby? Asked my mom. Kitties are magic, Robin yelled. Indeed, said my dad, scratching Aretha's ear. And don't forget dogs. They were still going at it when I shut the door. Chapter 9. I love my mom and my dad, and usually my sister. I think a lot of us can relate to that statement right there, right? Or brother, like, yeah, they're all right, I guess, right? Even as an adult, there's still sometimes that my sister just drives me crazy. But lately, they'd really been getting on my nerves. Robin was a little kid, so of course she was annoying. She'd say things like, what if a dog and a bird got married, Jackson? Or sing, wheels on the bus go round and round 3,000 times in a row. Or steal my skateboard and use it for a doll ambulance. The usual little sister stuff. My parents were more complicated. It's hard to explain, especially since I know this sounds like a good thing, but they were always looking on the bright side. Even when things were bad, and they'd been bad a lot, they still joked. They acted silly, they pretended everything was fine. Sometimes I just wanted to be treated like a grown-up. I wanted to hear the truth, even if it wasn't a happy truth. I understood things. I knew way more than they thought I did. But my parents were optimists. They looked at half a glass of water and figured it was half full, not half empty. Not me. Scientists can't afford to be optimists or pessimists. They just observe the world and see what it is. They look at a glass of water and measure 3.75 ounces, or whatever it is. And that's the end of the discussion. Take my dad. When I was younger, he got sick. Really sick. He found out he has this disease called multiple sclerosis. Mostly, he has good days, but sometimes he has bad ones when it's hard to walk, and he has to use a cane. When he learned he had MS, my dad acted like it was no big deal, even though he had to quit his job, which was building houses. He said he was tired of listening to the hammering all day long. He said he wanted to wear fancy shoes instead of muddy ones, and then he wrote a song about it called The Muddy Shoe Blues. He said he might work from home, so he taped a sign on the bathroom door that said, Office of Mr. Thomas Wade. My mom put the sign next to it that said, I'd rather be fishing. And that was that. Sometimes I just want to ask my parents if my dad is going to be okay, or why we don't always have enough food in the house, or why they've been arguing so much. Has anyone ever had that before, where you had like questions you want to ask, but you're just not quite sure how to? That's happened to me. Also, why I couldn't have been an only child. I don't ask, not anymore. Last fall, we were at a neighborhood potluck dinner where Aretha ate a baby's disposable diaper. She had to spend 2 nights at the vet's until she pooped it out. Oh, yuck. Poop in, poop out, my dad said when we picked her up. It's the circle of life. That circle of life is expensive, my mom said, staring at the bill. Looks like rent's going to be late again this month. When we got to the car, I came right out and asked if we had enough money for stuff. My dad said not to worry, that we were just a little financially challenged. He said sometimes it's hard to plan for everything, unless you have a crystal ball and can see the future. And if I knew someone with a crystal ball, I would love to borrow it. My mom said something about winning the lottery. My dad said if they won the lottery, could he please get a Ferrari? And she said, how about a Jaguar? And then I could tell that they wanted to change the subject. I didn't ask any more hard questions after that. Somehow I just knew my parents didn't want to give me hard answers. Chapter 10. After I got ready for bed, I lay on my mattress and thought things over. I thought about the stuff I'd put on my keepsake bag, some photos, a spelling bee trophy, a bunch of nature books, my teddy bear, a clay statue of Crenshaw that I had made when I was in 2nd grade, my worn-out copy of A Hole is to Dig. I thought about Crenshaw and the surfboard. I thought about the purple jelly beans. Mostly, though, I thought about the signs I'd been noticing. I am very observant, which is a useful thing for a scientist to be. Here's what I've been observing. Big pile of bills. Parents whispering. Parents arguing. Stuff getting sold, like the silver teapot my grandma gave my mom, and our laptop computer. The power going off for 2 days because we hadn't paid the bill. Not much food except peanut butter and mac and cheese and cup of noodles. My mom digging under the couch cushions for quarters. My dad digging under the couch cushion for dimes. My mom borrowing toilet paper rolls from work. The landlord coming over and saying, "I'm sorry," and just shaking his head. It didn't make sense. My mom had 3 part-time jobs. My dad had 2 part-time jobs. You'd think that that would add up to 2 whole actual jobs, but it didn't somehow. My mom used to teach music at the middle school until they cut her job. Now she works as a waitress at 2 restaurants and a cashier at a drugstore. She wanted to get another job teaching music, but so far nothing had come up. After my dad had to quit construction work, he started a handyman business. He did small fix-it stuff, but sometimes he wasn't feeling well and had to cancel appointments. He also gave private guitar lessons, and he was hoping to go to the community college part-time to learn computer programming. I figured my parents had a plan for making everything okay, because parents always have plans. But when I asked them what it was, they said stuff like maybe they could plant a money tree in the backyard, or maybe they could start their rock band up again and win a Grammy Award. I didn't want to leave our apartment, but I could feel it coming, even if nobody said anything. I knew how things worked. I'd been through this before. It was too bad because I really liked where we lived, even though we'd only been here for a couple years. Swan Lake Village was the name of our neighborhood. It didn't really have swans, but all the mailboxes had swans on them, and the community pool had a swan painted to the bottom. The pool water was always warm. Mom said it was from the sun. I think it was from illegal peeing. All the streets in Swan Lake Village had 2 words in their names. Ours was Quiet Moon, but there were others like Sleepy Dove and Weepy Wood and Sunny Glen. My school, Swan Lake Elementary, was only 2 blocks from my house. It didn't have anything with swans on it. Swan Lake Village wasn't a fancy place at all. Just a regular old neighborhood, but it was friendly. It was the kind of place where you could smell hot dogs and burgers grilling every weekend, where kids rode their scooters on the sidewalks and sold lousy lemonade for $1 a cup. It was a place where you had friends you could count on like Marisol. You wouldn't have thought it was a place where people were worried or hungry or sad. Our school librarian likes to say you can't judge a book by its cover. Maybe it's the same way with our neighborhoods. Maybe you can't judge a place by its swans. Have a great day, everyone.